If you're new to long distance and overseas travel, then there's a very high likelihood you've never really had to deal with extremely long flights, jet lag, and things like that. And it's something that's very important to consider when you're traveling, especially overseas, like between the US and Europe or going to Asia, for example. For example, coming here to Rome, which we did this week, it was about 30 hours of continuous travel between driving to the airport, having to wait for the flights, getting through security, layovers. We had about a 6 hour drive to the airport. You have to get there 3 hours early. 7 hour flight, 8 hour layover, 3 hour flight. You have to collect your luggage. You have to get taxis to your apartment, whatever. You put it all together. For us, it was 30 hours, and we do this pretty often, so we're a little bit faster than most people, and we tend to know what we're doing. It's easy for that time to get pretty long, especially if you're going on more economic flights or whatever. If you're doing very expensive direct flights, you can cut some time. If you have someone waiting to pick you up, it might make it a little bit easier, but in general, you're going to be going a long way. For us, it's about a 7 hour time difference that we just did, and you could have as much as like a 12. And jet lag is a very real thing. These things add up. You go for a long period of time without sleep. The time zone changes on you. Just everything is different, and it's a very easy to be exhausted when you arrive and to have your internal clock be off and not have everything the way you're expecting. Your body doesn't want to really let you kind of adjust and do things. And so it's very easy to lose potentially your entire holiday if you're not careful just because of jet lag and being exhausted. So it's very important to think about how these things are going to play in and how you're going to deal with them. Get lots of sleep before you travel. Don't start off exhausted. That'll make it just terrible. Avoid alcohol and coffee while you're traveling. Caffeine in general. It's going to dry you out. Get lots of water because dehydration is a major component. Get sleep if you can normally on planes, in airports, wherever. Take naps. But plan that when you arrive, you're going to be exhausted. Figure out how you're going to get in extra sleep. Assume you're going to lose a day. For us, it took an entire day. We didn't arrive until midnight. And then we pretty much lost all of our first day here in Rome, which we expected, so it's not a problem. But these are things you have to account for. If you're only taking a 1 week vacation, for example, you might lose an incredible amount of your time to just being exhausted or not being able to wake up or just feel terrible the entire time as you push yourself too hard. So it's very important to consider how the long travel times are going to play in and how jet lag may affect you or your family, especially kids who really can't do a lot to adjust for it, and build in time to catch up on sleep, to adjust your schedule and whatever, and just assume that's going to take some time. It's things that you just have to deal with as a traveler, especially when you're traveling east-west, but doing large north-south travel is going to have most of the same effect, but without the traditional jet lag problem, but it's still there nonetheless. 30 hours on a plane without any sleep, you're still exhausted, and it takes your body time to make up for that. And you don't want to push too hard and get sick. It's going to make it worse. And remember, you have to do the same trip home at the end. And so if you're only going for a week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks, it's not enough time for you to completely adjust. You may have to face a pretty big adjustment period when you go home again as well. So just things to think about when traveling. And when you travel a lot, these are things that you just get used to and have to deal with all the time.